thank you, Marcela, for joining me today in Non-Traditional Headspace or NTH. Thank you for being here with me today. This is going to be a fun episode because I am very close to you for so many reasons. Not just because I know you for a long time, but we happen to be family. And I'm going to talk about you a little bit, just to give a brief introduction of who you are in terms of what I know about you. And then we're going to start into the topics. But to start off, I'm going to call you Marcela because that's not your first name. But
That is not my first name.
for preferences, you like Marcela. And that's because we normally get two names in Latin America and we end up using one all the time. So I guess it's normal that you can choose which one you prefer. You are from Honduras also. You are in your 30s. And you are also the mid-child in the sibling arrangement of your family. And that is why I think you and I might have certain things in common because I am also the mid-child from my family. And that makes us unique in some way because certain things happen when you're a mid-child. But a little bit more about you. You decided to study medicine and you're going to talk about more yourself about this experience for you. And you also decided to specialize in pediatrics, which I want to understand better why and so on. So, yeah, you are a young lady that has made a successful career so far. I'm really proud of that. So, I want you to know that. I'm really proud of everything that you have achieved so far. So, we're going to begin then with the first segment, which is talking about your journey to becoming a doctor and specializing. So, to start off, I want to ask you then, what inspired you to become a doctor and what motivated you to choose specifically becoming a specialist in pediatrics?
Of course. First of all, thank you, Denise, for having me. I know we are very close because we are family, we are cousins. And yeah, we can like in so many things. I guess we have always get along very well because we are very similar in certain things. Not only because we are the middle child in both our families, but yeah, I'm a doctor. I'm the first doctor of our family. And I decided to study medicine because, first of all, I wanted to know everything about something. And I thought, which career I can choose where I can know everything about something. In, in this case, about the human body. So I was very always curious since I was a little kid. I was always like looking around things and looking around animals and playing with them and seeing how it worked, how they move and everything. I got into medical school here in our country. I studied in the public school here in Honduras because it's one of the best, has a lot of trajectory and is very well known. And yeah, it's 8 years here. I don't know why it's so long.
It's a lot.
It's very long. It's a lot. Yeah, it's a long time in there, 8 years, just to be a general doctor, general medicine.
Yeah.
I finished my 8 year and I said what I wanted to do next, which rotation I'd love, and what I want for specialization. The rotation that I really loved was pediatric. I really connected with the patients and kids at
which are particular patients because there's children. They're not adults. It's difficult to tell the symptoms if they have something. So it's a challenge.
Yeah, you have to be, yeah, it is. And you have to use a lot your patience. You see a kid, and the thing I love about them is because they cannot pretend. They cannot pretend they're sick in comparison
That's
to
fun.
an adult.
That's funny. That's funny that you say that. Yeah. Because adults
yeah, they
might
cannot.
come up with crazy shit sometimes. I know. So,
Yeah, yeah. And you can imagine how kids are very honest and they cannot pretend and they cannot fake a symptom or an illness. So you have to be very observative and through observation and examination and asking the parents, you'll get to do your diagnosis. It is a very fulfilling career because you're always happy in some way because the kids, they don't even know they're sick sometimes. So they always are with a smile or do something funny or they it's really funny. So yeah, you have something in your day that makes you laugh with them.
yeah.
The other day, just to tell you a story, the other day I had a visitation from a pharmaceutical representative.
Okay.
And she told me, I visit a lot of doctors. And the best ones are the pediatricians because
Yeah.
they're always in a good mood. Yeah, they're always in a good mood and it's very calming and very, you have some kind of peace when you are visiting a pediatrician because they're always calm. And I said, because we have the best patient. So, yeah, it is a win situation.
So they told you that the branch of pediatrics is the best one compared to the other ones because you happen to have a better attitude, maybe. Because honestly, some doctors, I'm not talking about pediatricians or anything related to children particularly, but I think the other, specialists, I don't know if it has to do a lot with the type of patients that they have and the traumas that they see in the type of work that they
Mhm.
do, but they seem to become a little more tough. And that
Yeah.
maybe transmits to even, like you're saying, to the people who visit them, to offer them medicines, to prescribe things, and then to patients also.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. There is a classification which medical specialties are that
Okay.
they have the best quality of life or the best not having a lot of issues about mental health and everything because of the things they see and everything. And pediatricians are one of the, I think the second one, the third one with the best
And we,
lifestyle. Yeah.
who are the first? Who are the
Best lifestyle, dermatologist.
Of course,
Dermatologists
yes.
are the happiest. Are the
Well,
happiest. And
I like dermatologists. I am
I
a,
know you do.
yeah, I, yeah,
You're in skincare junkie. I know you're
yeah,
a skincare junkie.
yeah,
And so am
I
I.
like
So am I. I
But that's
think
interesting.
everybody is very aware about skincare right now. It is.
Yeah. I didn't know that there was a classification of these specialists and
Yeah, it is. It is. They have.
how it relates to their lifestyle and how they feel.
Yeah, they have the classification. They have done a lot of studies about that, about doctors and their mental health.
Okay.
So pediatricians are one of the happiest ones. And not because we don't see tough cases or things that can can cause you, I don't know, feeling sad or feeling bad or anything like that, because we see a lot of pain, right? Hard diagnosis and
Yeah.
bad prognosis about patients. And it always gets to you. But the next patient is a very happy one and you
Yeah.
forget kind of about the other patient. Yeah, it is a very fulfilling career. So I'm very happy. Very
Nice. I wanted to ask you because you mentioned something about why you chose it. Because I know that a lot of people, and it's very nice to hear from you the reasons why you decided to study medicine and specialize in something like you did. Because I do feel like right now there's a lot of people who decide to study medicine, but for the wrong reasons. I'm sure that you encounter people when you have been studying. You might have encountered this type of people. They seem to pursue the career for the wrong reasons. And when I say that, I mean it because sometimes I think people associate the opportunity of studying medicine to perhaps knowing that there's always a demand for medical services, right? So they think, oh, I'm going to be having a job that is for sure going to be on demand. And if you compare it to other careers, there might be a higher percentage of a higher pay, right? If we compare it to other very rough work that people could do, like working in textile industries, etc., for example. So I think some people just go into medicine not because they have the vocation to really do it, like you are explaining. You enjoy it. This brings you joy. But I don't think everybody does. So, did you ever find people like that during your career
Yeah,
studies?
throughout the whole career. There's always someone that studies medicine because they think they're gonna have money and status, and they're gonna call you a doctor, and it's very fancy,
Yeah.
and it's not like that. While you are in medical school, it's very tough. You have to sacrifice a lot and these birthdays and family gatherings and things like that because I was in on call or something like that. So people that does it for the wrong reasons are the ones that are not.
Yeah.
They are
Yeah.
always like worrying about money and having to work a lot because they want to have a lot. And don't get me wrong, we are not the richest people in the world unless you
Well,
are a plastic surgeon or something.
yeah, it depends. I was going to say.
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. It depends on the specialty. So if you want to have money,
Yeah.
be an orthopedic surgeon or be a surgeon in everything or neurosurgeon or plastic surgeon, something like that. But know that you're going to have to work a lot. You're going to miss a lot of things in your
Yeah.
life because you're gonna be in the operating room long hours. You're gonna study for many years to specialize in it because it's very difficult.
But
And
they need the skills. Otherwise, even though they have this desire
even
to
though,
have money,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, even though you like something, it doesn't mean that you're gonna be good at it.
yeah,
So you have to
exactly.
be. It's like a whole thing. You have to
Yeah.
be good studying, good with your patients, and good what you do in what you do. It's to be a surgeon is like an art. I always say you have to have knowledge, not only knowledge. You have to have like hand skills and things like that.
Yeah, it's
So
like I recently, because my boyfriend asked him, he's not really into technology or he's not updated on many things. He's not a social media guy. So we recently watched that movie from Cuba Gooding Jr., where he's a neurosurgeon. And he actually enjoyed it because it's a very inspiring movie. Like it explains all the difficulties of being a doctor. So that was a nice movie to watch. Yeah.
I recently saw that movie also. It's a very good one. There you see a case of somebody that enjoys his career and is very good at it. He has a special gift.
A
Even
special
though
gift.
it's a movie, but it was inspired by real stories, so
Yeah.
real events. Well, there are surgeons like that. I totally admire them, but it's not
Yeah.
for me. The first time I went in a OR for a surgery, oh my God, it lasted 7 hours. And I said, yes, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't
Yeah.
have what it takes because I don't like it. You have to really know what to do. And you have to have a special passion about a
Yeah.
specialty to shoot it and to last in it. Because
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people that get into medical school and in the middle of it, they decide to do something else or get into a specialty and don't even last a month in there because
Yeah.
they don't do it for the right reasons. The only way that you can last is that you have to really love what you do and have a passion about it and believe that you're gonna do it and you're gonna finish it. Because it
Yes.
takes a lot. It takes a lot. I think you know it takes a lot.
It takes a lot. I've seen it with you. So now we already talked a little bit about the challenges, right? We, in our talk right now, we mentioned few of them. But for example, you mentioned also that you specialize in pediatrics. To do that, in order for you to be able to specialize, you had to leave Honduras. So that
Yes.
became in some way a new experience. But I want to understand what it meant to you. Of course, I'm sure it was exciting because you were going to specialize in and keep studying something that you love. I want to know about your experience about moving away from home and leaving family and friends behind and all of that, moving away.
Yes. I always knew that I was going to leave the country to specialize. Not because,
I
not
know
because
you
we
were
don't
going
have,
to.
I knew, not because we don't have that specialty here in Honduras. It's because I wanted a complete program with rotations that I liked. I wanted to leave my comfort zone and do something in other place. So I started doing research about several programs and what I could afford at the time.
Yeah.
I saw one that was in a private university and a private school and a private hospital and everything, but it had a very complete program. It had rotations abroad from that country, and I said, "Instead, I'm going to do it." And I started to prepare my. So
Okay.
moving is a process at first because you have to apply and you have to get accepted in order to do it because it's not that easy. You have to do an exam, you have to do an interview, and your CV have to be like the best one. I prepared a lot. I got in, and the process of moving, I didn't feel it like the end of the world.
Yeah.
But it was a shock because I didn't move like to Europe or something like that where the culture is totally different, but it was a different culture. And it was very challenging, even the communication, even though it was in Spanish. In this place, they say things differently. The patients talk differently. So the process of adapting, because
Yeah.
you have to go through it, it was very difficult and it was a cultural shock. And you're in some place that is very far away from your house and very far away from the parents and the things, places, and your friends and everything like that.
Yeah. You have no choice
You have
at the end.
you have no choice. You have to adapt. It was very hard at the beginning. I felt sometimes really lonely, even though I had some people I knew there, and you were there.
Yeah, I
At the
was there
beginning.
in that country too.
You
I was
were
there.
there.
Yeah.
You were there at the beginning, and but I didn't see you a lot because I was
Yeah.
very busy sometimes, and I couldn't. Oh my god, I was on call every other day, and I was very like exhausted all the time, and I
Remember
didn't
that.
have.
I remember
Yeah,
that.
I
Like
remember that.
we kept inviting you to trying to make sure that you didn't feel like you were missing out on anything and trying to invite you. But eventually we understood that you were always tired because you were working a lot and studying all the time. So it's not that you didn't want to.
I couldn't. My body begged me to sleep
Yeah.
sometimes. Sometimes it was really funny because I had to decide, do I go to sleep or do I eat? But so yeah, I was that tired. I was that tired. And many times we won. And I couldn't even eat because I fell asleep with the sandwich in my I I won't lie to you. There were times, even the last year I wasn't there, the last month, the last week I was there,
Yeah.
I felt sometimes really lonely, really lonely. But I always kept thinking, like, I have to finish, I have to do this, I have to do my best. I can do it. That really helped me talking to myself a lot and being very aware of my feelings. And I couldn't go to therapy in that time, but I did myself
Yeah.
therapy. So
You were your own therapist, your own motivator, your own coach, everything. That's funny.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I always speak on the telephone with my parents. I couldn't tell them everything because I didn't want to make them worried about me.
Yes.
But I always said, I'm okay. How are you guys? And like always pretending, always pretending I
That
was
everything was perfect.
okay. Everything was perfect. Okay, I crashed my car, but everything is fine.
But
Yeah,
uh,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
I think it has to do about moving abroad in general. It's difficult, I think, to start over and start making a new group of friends. It's not always simple. And depending on the cultures too, it gets a little bit even harder because sometimes it takes a while for people to open up, to integrate to certain groups and everything. Although for you, it might have been easier because you knew people from the same group of medical students, maybe. Do you think it was easier to make certain acquaintances because you were studying medicine and you had access to? Because if you're studying the same thing, it's easier to have things in common to talk about with certain people if you're studying medicine. But if you are just trying to meet random people from other groups and circles, it's different, I think.
Yeah, yeah. It's pretty hard to connect at certain age because you have your experiences and that really plays a heavy role because you are more cautious with where you say your things or who to say it. But yeah, I had my colleagues because we were every day, the whole
Yeah.
day at the hospital. And yeah, that was like a way to express myself about the things about hospital, but not the things I was going through at that time. They became my friend at the end, but I didn't tell them everything. And I don't tell them everything because
No,
I'm not that open. I don't have that kind of communication with everybody.
I do think it's normal though. Or maybe that's
Mhm.
just how you and I, and we're similar, like I said, in certain things that we were raised a certain way and we consider, at least I do, maybe you can explain it better for yourself, but my group of really close, good friends, it's small. It's really small. It's not that I consider everybody my close friend. And I think the older you get, it's harder to start
Your circle will become shorter and
smaller.
shorter. Yeah,
Yeah.
smaller, smaller, because you tend to like classify. This
Yes.
person is just to hang out, and this person is for real.
Yeah.
I know I talked about certain things with you and my younger sister. You know
Yeah.
her. You know her.
Yeah.
I told her a lot of things because I have a very good relationship with her. And my best friends. I have
Yeah.
my best friends from Honduras. We all are doctors and we understand each
Yeah.
other a lot because we're there. You have to release in
Yeah.
some way. Yeah, that helped me a lot. Talking to friends and family, going through the change of moving somewhere else and being by yourself and doing everything by yourself.
Ch- Changes and tough times. Yeah.
In tough times, yeah, it changes. I was the one more independent.
Yeah.
Because
Because we have little children.
we
We
the middle
are
yeah.
we are forced to be more independent. And not maybe because we chose to be that way, but because
No.
in some ways we're forced to be that way. We're not the eldest one who usually has a more closeness to the parents in some way, to one of the parents. There's always that. Like the older sibling is closer to the parent. And then the younger one, of course, they get away with a lot of things that you didn't get away with because, of course, your parents were tough on you. And maybe because of the fact that they're the younger ones, the parents seem to be tired. So if you're the middle child, You're forced to be independent. They don't really pay much attention to you, I think. And they just let you be
No.
sometimes.
Yeah, you're forced to. Always the oldest one takes a lot of attention and the younger one. So you
Yeah.
are the middle child. You're always like, here I am. But you can, sometimes you can get away with things because they're not paying attention to you. And yeah, being the middle child always forces you to be more independent because you have to do things on your own.
Figure it out.
But
And,
at the end of
and
the
that
day, I think
independence helped you to
it helps
decide
you,
to take,
yeah,
yeah.
step of leaving your nest and go explore the world or
Yes.
better opportunity and things like that. So at the end of the day, I'm really grateful that they made me this independent. It's a bad thing. It's not always a bad.
It's not a bad thing. Yeah. In order to move on to the next segment, right? Because this one is the segment that is a little bit more personal now. You explain how moving abroad wasn't as easy as anyone could think, right? Even if you are moving, like I mentioned in my first episode, even if you're moving to the country that is next to yours, it's never that easy. Okay. It's always something different that you're doing. You are trying to fit in, no matter if you're speaking the same language. So it's hard. But besides that, besides you trying to already have the challenge of studying something that is not easy, medicine is not easy, moving away from family, friends, from your home country too. So this was not easy, right? You were moving abroad and you were in a relationship before since you were in Honduras, right? So already bringing that to the table is also another challenge because you have to now see how to make it work now that you're moving abroad as well. So with this, you're going to tell us. I'm not going to say anything. You're going to tell us more about it because I just want you to say whatever you're comfortable with. Can you describe what your relationship was like when you were dating this person? And how did you meet and what happened? Tell us more about that.
Yeah, you're right. I was in a relationship at that time. I met this guy when I was in medical in my final years. When I was in clinics doing rotation, specifically in pediatrics rotation.
Yeah.
It is funny as I think about it now. Yeah, we had a very formal and very, I don't know, the real deal relationship. We were together for 5 years
How old were you when you started dating him and everything?
in my 20s, in my early 20s.
Early 20s. Okay.
Um, he was my first boyfriend because I decided to be like that way. I always thought that I didn't need it to go through it because I didn't think it was necessary to go through that this experience in my, I don't know, when I was in high
Younger.
school or things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, younger. When I met him, I said, I think it is time. I'm old enough. I'm almost finishing medical school. Everything's fine. So this person seems to be going the same way I'm going. So I'm going to give it an opportunity. We finished medical school.
I'm sorry to interrupt you here because I want to mention this because I want to relate with you in this way. You said that you were also in your 20s and that you were not prioritizing being in a relationship before that. And this is something that I also want to share so that people who are listening understand that it had to do with the upbringing that we had too, right? Because I was the same way. I never prioritized having a relationship with someone because I didn't think like you. It's very funny that we have this same thought process. We didn't think that was the most important thing. But if you ask somebody now, like now, the new generation, that is insane to even think about it. Like, that's insane to have your first formal relationship when we say formal, when you and I say formal, we mean dating someone, like calling somebody your boyfriend.
Really, yeah. Yeah. Really
Yeah.
dating someone.
Until you're 20, that's crazy.
That is crazy. Nobody believed me that he was my first. When somebody asked me, a mutual friend we had,
Yeah.
she asked me, "Oh, how many boyfriends have you had before this person?" And I said, "He's my first boyfriend." And she said, "Oh my God, your life is so sad."
And you know what?
And now
Maybe,
think about it.
yeah, yeah, I'm going to let you say it.
You should have. Yeah.
We should have had.
Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have had some more experience before we jump like the real deal in your 20s when you are supposed to do like something more formal and not joking around because
Yeah.
we were raised thinking that you're gonna have a boyfriend so you can get married. Or you're gonna have a boyfriend, but he's gonna be like your real boyfriend. You're gonna
Yeah.
present him to the family, and someday you're gonna marry this person. He's gonna be
Yeah.
with you for the rest of your life. And
Yeah.
we were raised thinking
This way.
that way. Yeah.
Very
In
traditional.
very traditional household. And in Latin America, it's not that common to have many boyfriends. Nowadays, it is common
Yeah.
because we
No,
have
but still.
planning rate in adolescent pregnancy.
No, yeah, but no, hold on. Well, no. I'm gonna defend. I'm gonna defend some points there because yes, I agree with you. Like I said, younger generations, they are different. They're less afraid to judgment, so they just go ahead and date a lot and have not relationships, just date around and fool around. But it's not that. I know that you see this because you're a doctor, so you see this like young pregnancies and everything. But that has a lot of backstory to it too in Latin America. That has to do a lot with other fucked up things.
Educations and things.
But what you
And
said,
yeah, and the other fucks up.
yeah. But the other thing that you said is you mentioned about how this traditional household that we have and how that influences these choices that we made back then, and that we should have experienced something else. But in certain way, still, I still don't regret anything. Although it was like a crash and burn because you were going straight to the and with no background experience at all. But even then, I still don't regret it because that's what makes you and I who we are today. And I think we came out pretty well compared to other people who are really fucked up.
Everything's
So everything's fine. But yeah, you were dating then when you were in your 20s, and it was not like the regular relationship that so people understand. It was not like the regular relationship now where when people just call it off immediately and oh, they move on. No, it was something more formal. You were planning for a future and everything. So that's the difference, right?
Yeah, it was. Because as I told you, I decided that I was going to do it, that it was time, and I was finishing one step of my career. And I thought I can do the other part of my career with a partner, somebody that goes along with me. We wanted the same things. He wanted to specialize as I was going to. So we both applied to programs in this country. It was my idea, though. I did.
It was your brilliant idea. Yeah.
It was my idea, and I did everything for both of us to be there. Practically, he only needed to do the exam and do his interview because I did all the paperwork for both of us, and I said, "We're gonna do it, and we're gonna go that place, and you're gonna go with me." He wanted to, of course, but it was my idea, my brilliant idea. He said,
So he stole your idea. He copied your idea.
in some way, yes, and he did.
Yeah, he did.
But
He won't admit
he
it.
won't never,
Never.
admit it.
Yeah.
He moved there first a year before I did. So it became the issue about the distance when you're not with somebody that you were used to be every day, almost every day with this person. It was very hard on the relationship. I think that was the main issue.
Yeah.
At the beginning, we were not going to talk about his issues.
Yeah.
But
yeah, we don't really want to trash him that way. We're going to keep it polite. Yeah.
we're going to keep it polite and keep it light.
Yeah.
Because if I start, I don't know, we're going to have to do another episode about
Okay.
it.
Did the communication
Fighting,
start
hello?
to be,
That
I was going to
communication
ask.
started to crumble because he was busy all the time and I was working too. I was busy, but we still managed and we struggled. But we talked almost every day. We did video calls, we did a lot of texting and things like that, but it's not the same. When you are used to be with that person, that was the first hit relationship in that sense, and being apart of
Yeah.
each other.
Apart. And imagine that happens to be difficult now that we have technology. Imagine back then. That is a vote.
But we
Yeah.
made it back then.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So that was a vote of confidence in someone to be separated for circumstances, life circumstances back then. And people just trusted that the other person was doing the right thing at the other end. Now we have technology, you can do video calls, phone calls, and still it's not perfect. So sometimes
yeah.
it has nothing to do with how much you put in the effort. It has to do more about deciding to being correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a decision. It's a decision. And you have to like really want it and be really honest about it, about your intentions at the end. And you have to commit
Yeah.
to make it work. And sometimes people just can't. And you can't
Yeah.
force them to commit and do the right thing all the time. In our culture, it's very hard for some men. I'm not going to say
Most
everyone,
men, I would
but
say, but most of them.
most of them, because the way they are raised culturally,
Yeah.
they struggle a lot with not being with their partner like beside them all the time.
No,
I
that's
didn't
it.
want to say it, but that's if
Yeah.
you're getting into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
We're giving clues.
we're
Eric.
clearly
Yeah.
going through
Just,
it,
just,
but
just be direct. Okay. So you were with this person and you were trying to make it work because you were apart from each other and you were trying to make it work for a year almost that you were apart, right?
for a year. And
Yeah.
when you think about it, a year is not that
It's
long.
nothing.
When I traveled there to see him, and because I was when also my applications, I went to conferences there.
Yeah.
I did my part. I tried very hard to stay there and being present because, as I said, the first year in residency is very hard because it's a change. It's a new hospital, new system, new people, and sometimes you're not like the teacher's pet or something like that.
Yeah.
So you have to work your way there, and there is bad people always that always make you look bad or things like that, or want to
Yeah. The competition,
succeed.
right?
At
Yeah.
the competition is very hard, so you have to study a lot. You're always tired, and you don't have the energy to pay attention to someone else.
No,
That's
no.
why
I just think about because I think everybody does who doesn't study medicine. They see you guys and they imagine the whole thing playing out like Grey's Anatomy.
I hear your pronunciation.
Okay. I wanted to know that. Is it in some way like that? Like the drama and the whole thing going on behind
I'm not the kind of person that wants to get it involved, but in the topic of relationship,
Yeah.
I don't know if the tiredness.
Everybody is
lonely or the struggle that makes you like go and find comfort in somebody else or just to get your mind away from your problems in the hospitals. It
from
happens.
the
It
stress.
happens. I've seen it. I've seen it. I didn't do that,
You
but
didn't do that.
no, I was will be you. No, but it
A
happens to
lot.
some people.
Yeah, a lot of people
To
do
some
that.
people, not to everybody. There are
Yeah,
some couples that make it being like away in different countries and being in different hospitals in the same country. There are some couples that make it
okay.
because they really commit to each other. It's a decision, as you said.
Yeah, it's a decision. With this, then, in the end, people might be wondering at this point. A brief, you don't have to really go deep into it, just in general, explain what happened, like superficially. You don't have to go too into it.
Mm. Okay, that's another episode.
Yeah.
No, we didn't make it. We broke up. Specifically in the first couple of weeks that I moved there. I don't know. The thing ended like way
You
back.
or you or him or who made that call in the end? Let's just
Where the situations that happened. He went and looked comfort in other people, and I found
okay.
out. And obviously, that was very hard for me. I couldn't
Yeah.
believe it. We were in a serious relationship. We were having plans for the future. And he did it. He found someone to go to, I don't know, looking for what, because in
So he
my opinion,
cheated. He cheated. He cheated.
he cheated. In my opinion, I did my part, but he cheated. He hooked up with someone else. He contacted me and he told me everything. And when I asked him, I asked this guy for proof, he sent me a lot of screenshots about their plans to hook up and I don't know,
Yeah, a lot of
to
nasty
bring
things. But you know what?
nasty things and
Ab- About the way it happened, like you say, like how you found out. It's funny. It's interesting too to me because you know what? That's when you are 100% sure that it's not on you. You know why? Because I think that you were doing your part, like you said. You were trusting, you were not constantly being like the toxic person that is trying to find out if the other person is doing something wrong. Because there's also that saying, that famous saying, it's in Spanish that we say it a lot. But if you literally translate it, if you look for something, you'll find it. And you were not doing any of that. You were trusting the person you were
I
with. And
never in a million years,
yeah,
never in a million years, I thought that he was going to do that the way he.
yeah,
So it caught me off guard totally, and it was very hard. I didn't take it very well. I
yeah,
turned into this
amen.
person that I don't even want to remember because
Yeah,
I'm not like that. But I started to feel like all these feelings, and I didn't know what to do with them at the time. Knowing the things that I know now, I would have done it a very different way, but I did the best I could with the tools that I had at the moment. But in the end, as you said, it was not my fault. It had to do with him and the things that he was going through and the things that he learned in his childhood. He's a person that has a lot of trauma and he doesn't even know about it because he like blocked it. And I know it because talking with his mother later on, she told me like all these things, and I said, "Wow, this guy is really traumatized, and he doesn't
yeah,
even know about it." I'm not
I,
making excuses
yeah,
for him, but he's very damaged,
yeah,
and it was nothing to do with me, not my fault, all on him because I was doing my part the best that I knew how to because I'm not perfect. I did a lot of things that maybe made him disappointed of me in some things because I couldn't like understand fully what he was going through when he was there. alone, another country, in another place, makes you do things that you don't even know. But it was very
Yeah.
difficult.
But I think he knows that he has certain things that he has to deal with himself. I'm sure he knows that he has certain
I'm not sure about it because it
but
doesn't
he
hit me.
but no, yeah, exactly. What I was going to say then is he's not ready to deal with them. That's the problem. He probably knows, but he's not come to that phase where he understands that he will have to deal with it. He cannot just keep putting it in the back of his mind. Someday he's going to just have to confront the issues, but that's not our problem. That's his problem.
And no, and now that I think about it, when I met him, he was like recently finishing a relationship. I met him, but we weren't dating at the time, like right away. We dated like 1.5 years later. We were friends first, but he's a person that doesn't know how to be with himself. So I think that's his main problem. I don't know. I'm not here to analyze
Yeah,
them. I don't want to.
exactly. No, yeah,
That's a very dark place, and I don't want to go there.
yeah,
But it didn't have anything to do with me. At that time, you start to think the words, a lot of praise. It messes with the way you see yourself and things like that. But now that I healed, I know that it's not my problem. That and where if you believe in a higher power, in the universe or in God or I don't know.
yeah,
And I always go back there and I think, wow, thank you for saving me from a very miserable life with
yeah, exactly.
somebody that wasn't going to change. Never. I couldn't change him. Yeah.
No, you can never
He
change
had
someone
to,
else. He has to change
no, it
because
was
he
not my
decides
job.
to. Yeah.
He had to do the
Uh,
work himself.
yeah. And you know that I went to something quite similar too. So I completely understand. And it takes time. I don't know if because of what we explained, that we experienced certain things at a very later age, it was even a bit more difficult to deal with these situations. But it's not easy. It's not easy because, like you said, also, it brings up a lot of self doubt. You start doubting yourself. You start thinking that maybe you did something wrong. And you just start maybe having issues with your self esteem because of these things that were not your fault. But it takes a while for you to understand that it was not your fault. I like what you said because you said you're not perfect, and that's true. Of course, we could have done certain things better, I'm sure, but that doesn't give an excuse to anyone to hurt you in that way. Because I think for me, it felt like the greatest betrayal that I've ever had in my life when that happened. Because I also never thought that somebody that, because they put on a show, which is the funniest part of all, put on this show. I'm like, God, I love you. I will bring down the moon for you. And then they come up with this story that they're cheating the entire time. And you're like, what the fuck? Seriously? The person that told me all these beautiful things and but you're so in love and you're blindly in love. And then I feel like dealing with the whole feeling of being betrayed, that's the worst thing to get over from. Because then you know that is going to affect any other future things that you might want to do. Trust somebody else.
Yeah. It messes with your trust in yourself and in
Yeah.
somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start to feel like hopeless and hopeless in love.
It was hard because it was a betrayal and it's not easy. It's not easy to
Okay.
get over.
Yeah. That specific feeling when you first learn that the person that you love the most can do something like that to you.
Yeah.
What the well, you gave this person everything from you, you gave them part of your life, your time. That's like the thing that I regret the most because the time never comes back. You lost
Yeah.
the time forever. You can't gain back your self esteem. I don't know, everything, money that you invested in your
During
relationship
that.
or in your plan. But the time, that was the most regret the most spending that much time, 5 years with people.
For me, I have become like this more. I don't know. Maybe it's the age that happened a while ago, 10 years ago. But maybe it's just the age that you become a little bit more holistic about it, and then you're like, yeah. Again, this brought me to where I am. I learned a lot about myself through that experience. I really learned that there is certain things that I was not going to accept, no matter what, after that experience. So
It
that
helps
has
you
made me
build your build your boundaries
stronger.
and your
Yeah.
non-negotiables, and it makes you stronger. You learn a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't have to go through that because I'm very smart myself. I could have read a book or something like that. But
Yeah.
no, I guess that was my decision to give this person or give myself the opportunity to be with somebody. And it ended tragically in that way.
Okay.
But I thank God for the universe, the higher power that you believe in. I think that I found out
On
before
time.
I got, I don't know, married or had a
Yeah.
kid. I don't know.
Can you imagine that?
Can you imagine?
No, I can't imagine that.
I don't know. It makes you tied with that person like
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, it's complicated.
So I'm very thankful that happened like early on.
And how you coped with the whole situation. What were your support systems, or what were the things that you think that helped you get through the situation that you had?
My career was my failure. I focused on my studies. I focused on the things that I wanted. I started really taking care of myself and surround surrounded myself with friends and family. Though they were far away, but they were my support system, and I'm very thankful for that because I was in my lowest. It affected me at the beginning, but I said this is not going to break me down any longer. I said I need to get out of this. I need to do this for myself. I need to finish what I started, and I focus on my career. So I'm really thankful that I had that because some people don't have anything to do or are not like in a good place in life, and these things can make you go nuts or go crazy. I'm not saying that it didn't affect me because
Yeah.
I felt really bad. I got anxiety and I got depression at first, but I went through it, and my career played a very big role in my journey to heal that.
Your career made you distract from the whole
Yeah.
pain of.
And it was something that made me happy. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't like ignoring my feelings and the way I felt at the time, but it bring me like some way joy when I did something good or I helped somebody or I excelled at a exam or things like that. So it was very good for my self confidence and the feeling that I was doing something good for me, only me.
That's good. Now, looking back on what happened, how difficult it was because you were already trying to study, because you have to make it. It's a long journey. You did 8 years before, and then specializing was
4 years, 4 more
4
years,
years, 4 more years. So we're talking about a lot of time invested
12,
in that. Yes, yes,
12
12
years.
years.
Sorry.
And I think you keep studying still, and you will keep studying because that never ends for people who are studying
No.
medicine.
Clown face, we never finished.
Yeah. Yeah. So looking back at this journey that you had, What are the key experiences and moments that you had during all this that happened to you that you shared that shape your personal growth?
The feeling that I had a purpose and I had something to do with my life, that the thing that I was getting the things I wanted and that I was going to do it and really trusting in myself and in some way making my parents proud, because that's the other thing that I don't know, when you study something like it's hard, and having a daughter that they can call a doctor make your parents proud, and doing the right things and feeling good with myself and the things that I do every day and I was doing at the time every day. Those were feelings that stood up with me through the whole journey of studying a specialty, and the feeling of resilience, the thing that I went through at the beginning, at the
Yeah.
beginning in the most difficult time. Obviously, as I said, it affected me, but in some bizarre way, it gave me more strength. I thought if I can go through this like really well, nothing's gonna stop me. I'm strong minded. I have everything what it takes and really started to have confidence in myself. I think when you have this reassurance and all of this like good feedback in something that you're doing professionally and with your life, because my friends always said we are very proud of you because the thing that you went through is not easy, and look at you, you are
Yeah.
excelling on what you're doing, and that makes you feel good about yourself
Yeah.
and gives you hope.
Yes.
And the hope is like a great thing to get you moving. When you don't have hope, you
You
don't
don't
have
have
anything.
anything.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think hope is the last thing you lose, like they say, right? If you have
Mhm.
hope, then you have something to pursue, to want to do. If you lose that, then there's no motivation to do anything else. Now, all of this that you went through, because you're now a bit older now, right? You're not that young woman anymore. Of course, could be a way of inspiring people who are just starting. So, in what way do you consider that all of these experiences that you went through and that you are still going through because you're still trying to keep going, how could you inspire certain group of young, let's say women, particularly because you're a woman and you've shared with us things that happened to you as a woman? What would you share for people who are pursuing the career that you chose as also, but they are younger and they're starting to study this?
You have to really believe in yourself. You have to really want it. And you have to really have passion about it, about this career in particular. Because unless you have that, you won't make it. And it doesn't matter who you are, if you are a woman or if you're a guy, there's nothing going to stop you but yourself. And don't talk about the system and I don't know, that people don't like me and the professor gave me a bad score because he doesn't like me. No, that's not real. You have to put yourself to work. You have to sacrifice a lot in order to achieve something. This career is about sacrifice. But if you really love it, at the end of the day, all of it is really worth it. So you won't feel bad. I promise you, you will feel happy. You will feel fulfilled. You will feel hopeful, and you will want to be fine. But you have to really want it, and you have to be very focused on what you want, and try to not get distracted about fitting in or that everybody likes you. Not even the economical or that financial status that you have is not going to stop you if you really put yourself to work. I know a lot of colleagues and I have a lot of friends that even made it abroad in Europe or in the United States. So it's not an excuse. It's about the information that you look for because you have to really educate yourself about programs and things like that. You have to get your ass to work for it. It's not other way. It takes a lot of work. No one's gonna give you a specialty or your medical degree. You have to work for it. And that's the satisfaction that we all doctors have because we earned it. We really earned it. That's why some people say they so high on themselves. That's because we work really hard. We sacrifice a lot. That's my advice that if you really want it, nothing's gonna stop you.
Okay.
I've been reading books about it and I say, wow, this makes sense. That's why we have so much willpower and we have so much intuition and we can do great things. But we have to put ourselves to work for it and do everything we can to really make it.
Okay. You finish your specialization. What are you planning to do for the future? I want to
Yeah.
hear from you. Why do you want to do it abroad? And what do you want to go and study abroad?
I want to keep studying because in the medical career, you can specialize in multiple things. So I want to do another master's next year, a 2-year program in Europe. It's about endocrinology. And I'm working at the time to get more financially stable to do it because I want to do it on my own. Shocker.
So you're
I want to do
saving.
it on-
You're saving money.
I'm working a lot. Like doing pediatrics. But in order to apply to programs abroad, you have to pay for your tuition because they are private programs. And if you're a foreign student, you always have to pay. You can find scholarships or government funds, but you have to apply when you get it. So that's my plan to apply to these programs and get accepted by it and then apply for a scholarship and hopefully next year to do this program. And from there, I'm open to any opportunity. Staying where I go or I don't mind going back to my country and work there because you can do a lot of things in the medical field. As you said, we are always going to have a secure job. So it doesn't matter if you go back or if you stay somewhere else. You're always going to have patients. And that's a personal thing. I don't have to do anything another master's because I'm a specialist. So some people end it there. But personally, I want to do it. I'm very interested in that program. Europe, Spain, doesn't go. You have to have always a backup plan to
Yeah.
get the thing.
And A, B, and C, and Z.
B and C and D and Z.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're still planning to keep studying. That's admirable because to have that energy to keep studying, it's not easy. I have to tell you that. I am also in a small specialized certification right now, but it's different. Good. I'm happy that you're still trying to continue studying. That's very nice to hear that you're interested in keep preparing yourself to be more and more better at what you do. So I hope everything works out for you in that way. Now, about finding passion and personal legend. This is a question that I usually ask. I know what the answer is from you because you've been quite clear today about what you like to do. But still, just a question, you have to answer it in a very short way. You don't need to really give too much explanation on this. How do you discover your passion or your personal calling? And if you have, what is it?
I know what I'm supposed to do, but in order to do it, I need to work. a bit more because my true calling is not like seeing patients every day. I know I said that I love my job. I am very happy with it, but I don't want to depend on seeing patients to have everything I want. So someday I want to like build something in the medical field, obviously, like a NGO or something like that.
Non-profit organization. Okay, an NGO. Okay, cool.
I want to do that. I think that's my true calling. I want to manage a program like that and reach to the most children I can to help them have a better life and are the future of the world. So if you put really a good effort to make their life better, you're gonna have a better world. It's like a very like fantasy thing to say.
If we have a world,
Very,
because the way things are going,
a very Disney thing, right? But you can do really good things
yeah,
when you care, when you do something to help others. So I think helping others in a bigger way, that's my
yeah.
true calling. And I know that's what I'm meant to be someday. And I will
Okay.
work myself the way there to get there.
I think you don't give as much credit to yourself as you should, because again,
That's a condition. I have
yeah,
imposter syndrome.
yeah,
It
because
impacts also
yeah,
the picture in the whole interview.
it's okay. Because I think admirable to be a doctor. I just feel it that it's admirable. I don't know why. I don't ask me why, because I really don't understand a lot of things from medicine, but I think a lot of people would agree with me. It takes a lot to be a good doctor, to be a good practitioner of medicine that does the right things and for the right reasons. And you're already doing that and you're helping a lot of people through that. So I think you're already on your way of building a legacy behind you. You have to give more credit to yourself. Now, in the next segment,
That's one thing that I'm working on. Believe me.
okay, now, the next segment is like a little bit more fun segment. This is something that I picked the meme. So this is my choice. This is not something that advance. So it's a meme interpretation. And you're going to let me know in which ways you relate or if you think it's relatable or debatable what in the meme. So you're going to see an
Okay.
image that I'm about to share right now. So give me a sec to look for the image. So it says, me in 2040 dying in the operating table because my doctor used ChatGPT to pass medical school. I find it funny. And I'm sure that a lot of people, like I said, since a lot of us did not
It
study
is funny.
medicine,
It
we
is
might
funny because
think,
it's true.
okay,
It's
okay,
really
that's what,
relatable. It's so relatable. I know this is so funny. I know one of my best friends. He's gonna think that it's very funny. And that's a really sad thing because nowadays the new generations of doctors are going to the more and more a war, or that's already happened. So it's
yeah.
really funny.
And for us, for the rest of the human beings who are the patients, it's scary. It's scary because imagine
It
if you
is.
really
It
have
is too.
to, yeah, if you have need somebody
I'm
to really
really,
know what they're doing and they just Google it. Oh my God.
I'm, I'm glad that I'm a pediatrician because I don't know if I can trust my kids to some of the newer generation doctors. I don't know, it's a really sad thing to say, but people is really exposed to things, technology, and it's not always very assertive. You have to you have to have other skills as we talk, and you have to really examine a patient to get diagnosis. And the newest generation, they don't see a lot of patients in the pandemic. They didn't go to the hospital. They didn't go into clinical rounds because they were in their houses because they had to. So that's the time that got wasted and knowledge they didn't get. So gonna be interesting in the future.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, now next segment. We have product review, ride or die. So here in this segment, you as a guest share with us a review of a product that you have either used for a long time or you definitely consider that product to be your ride product because you cannot live without it or you simply enjoy it too much. It can be any type of product from beauty to, I don't know, kitchen product, whatever you want. Just any product that you really enjoy.
You know that I'm going to choose beauty products
Okay.
or skincare products. I'm like really into skincare and really obsessed with it right now. And I'm gonna talk about two products.
Okay.
And that I really love and I cannot live without it. One of them is sunscreen. I don't know why we didn't grow up knowing that we had to use it every day. We used it only when we went to the beach. But it is really important for the photo aging process. One of my best friends, she is a dermatologist, and she always recommends me the best.
So she's in the happy group of
Yeah, she's in the happy group.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she recommended this Eastern fusion water that is a sunscreen patch. It has 50 SPF and it's really blendable and you can use it and reapply it and you won't feel like sticky sensation and it protects your skin and really moisturizes. So that's one I cannot live without it.
But do you use the one that is tinted or just the one that has no color?
No color. I don't use makeup every day. I don't know, since the pandemic, because I had to wear this face mask and the face shield, I got used to not going with makeup every day. And I still wear masks because all of my patients, they are like always sneezing and coughing. I use the no color one and it's very good. I really recommend it. And the other one is hyaluronic acid.
Okay.
It it really moisturizes your skin and it plumps it and gives you like this inner sensation. And it's awesome. I use the BT booster one. It's the best. I really highly recommend it. Yeah.
No, it's a good brand. The only thing that I've ever used, and I bought it recently, is also a tinted moisturizer. I do tinted stuff. Yeah, I tried the tinted moisturizer and I do think it's a very good product also. Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. So I recommend the Asian one or the BT one.
Yeah. It's a good brand. Okay. And is there any product that you wouldn't recommend at all? Have you ever had a very bad experience with that product?
I had a bad experience with the vitamin. Any brand. I don't know. My skin doesn't tolerate it. I know that it's very like popular these days. It doesn't help you like for getting the wrinkles out of you or I don't know dark spots. It doesn't really help, but it can be used as like an antioxidant.
Okay.
I know it really gives you like this glow finish, but I don't recommend. I
But
don't know.
this
I
is
think it's not necessary.
you said vitamin C serum. This vitamin C. Yeah.
Vitamin C serum, I use the Cisderma vitamin C, the Flavor C from Eastern, and my skin doesn't tolerate it. If you want to have a really glowy finish in your skin and really anti-aging product, sunscreen is the best one.
I don't know. I had the same experience with vitamin C's too. They start itching on my face. Mm.
I had this burning sensation,
Yes.
and I started to break out like really bad, like
Yes.
sick breakout.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. I asked my friend, obviously.
Yes.
She
Yeah.
said that, and she said that some skin don't tolerate the
Oh,
vitamin, and
okay.
it's used only as a antioxidant. So it's not like that necessary.
So I'm gonna invite your friend to the podcast.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah. But I do think it's interesting because I actually thought that it was the brand that I have bought that maybe were having something in the ingredients of the product that were causing me an allergic reaction. But now it's interesting that you're also mentioning that you had and you asked her, who is a dermatologist, and it's certain type of skins that have this type of reaction to vitamin C in general. So that's interesting. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it is true. Some skins do not tolerate it. And not everything in social media, we are like exposed to, I don't know, different recommendations about skincare, even recommendations from people that are not experts. The only experts on skin are dermatologists.
Yeah.
So you have to like really pay attention to the things that you're listening to or seeing in social
Yeah.
media because
Basically,
they
not
can give
listening
you,
to influencers who usually get paid to promote products. Yeah. That.
yeah, and it's not always true. You better call your dermatologist, ask for a consultation, and you will know your skin type and what product can fit you the most. And they
Okay.
study a lot of years too. So,
Yeah. Now, the last segment that we have is the book recommendation, which you said you had a lot of books that you like. I like to read a lot also. I'm sure that we're reading different things because you're probably reading more about medicine, but I'm sure that you read other things too.
not,
Not really? Okay.
not
But
very.
is there one book or maybe a few books that you would like to recommend?
Yeah. The one book that I wish I read sooner because I read it like a couple months ago. It's Atomic Habits. It's a very popular book. I know others
I've
read it.
yeah, I read it already. I have the book.
Same here.
I have the hardcover book.
The physical book, the hard copy. It's a really good book, and it teaches you about the importance of growing habits for everything and to achieve your goals. So
Yeah.
it's interesting that you can rearrange your life by making habits,
Yeah.
especially good habits. So that's a very good one. And the
Yeah,
other
it's a very
one
good book.
that I had like an awakening by it because I read it recently. It's called The Woman Who Walked with the Wolf.
The Woman Who Walked with
Who
Wolves.
Walked with the Wolves. Yeah.
Okay.
It's by this author. She's a poet and a PhD. And she has Latin American roots, but she was born in the US. Her name is Clarissa Estés.
Okay.
And it's a really good book because you'll learn about the power of the wild woman. It's a very good book. It empowers women and they teach you all about trusting your intuition and how to build it and knowing that you have that in. So it was a very good book. I read it recently, a couple months ago. So I
Okay.
really recommend it.
Okay. I'll look for it because I had not heard of it.
You're gonna have this awakening about the power that it's in you as a woman. Because not the body of a woman, you are a human being that can grow a human in
Yeah.
you. So only by that you are you have a better, I don't know, human body and you have a lot of power and a lot of will power. So you have to read. I don't
Okay.
recommend it.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to list it down at the description of the episode so the listeners can also look for it. And I'm definitely going to look for it too. So, with this, we come to the end of the episode. And of course, I want to wrap up by saying that I want to first let you share at the end of this, what would you like the audience to remember of all that you have shared with us today? Which are the main takeaways that you think the audience that is listening should consider?
First of all, thank you for listening to the whole episode. Hopefully, this episode helps you to feel inspired that it's somebody that didn't have all the resources and had gone through very difficult things and had to be alone someplace. Somebody like me could make it and be good at what you do and excel at things and earn recognitions in your career as a woman. You can also do it. It's not in the sky. People have done it. I did it. Hopefully, you feel inspired by it. And that's what I intended with this interview. And if you want to reach out and look for advice for if you're in the medical field, and if you are a woman, you're going through a bad time or going through a breakup in a point of your career that, I don't know, you are starting a residency program or starting clinics that are the most difficult part of the career, you can reach out and I'm most happy to give advice to young women. And because I really hate when they get caught by these things like a breakup, and because it's not worth it. You're gonna meet someone else. You're gonna be fine. It's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world.
The career, it's not the end of the world. The career that you're building, the things that you're doing, and not only in medicine, it can be in your business or with your family if you have kids. Everything. The things that you're doing by yourself, those are the things that matter the most. And those things are gonna stick with you, and no one's gonna take them. Look for something that you want to do. Look for a thing that you want to do for you, for yourself, and that has a meaning. When you do things that don't have a meaning, you feel empty and it's not gonna fulfill everything. So find a purpose. I know not a lot of people have it figured out, and it's okay. Everybody had their turn. Everybody has their time. Some people find their purpose at 50, at 60, but it's what life is planning for you. But you have to, the thing that speaks about your growth, if when you are looking for working towards it, doing the work for yourself, trying to be better for yourself. So that's like my finish. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. Thank you too. Now, if you're comfortable with it, of course, do you want us to share your social media contact so people can reach out? We can add it to the
Sure.
description. Okay. So we're going
Sure.
to do that.
If there, I have two accounts, one professional account, and my personal
Yeah,
one.
we can
You
share
can
both.
share both. Yeah, you can share both.
Of course, I want to thank you a lot for being so open with us today, for joining me. And I want to now talk to the audience that is listening. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please consider leaving us a review or subscribing on the favorite podcast platforms. We are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And also, feel free to connect with us. And you can reach out to us in the social media platforms, including TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and our dedicated YouTube channel. So, once again, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.